What do you think the future of Australian theatre is?
Grim.
Grim?
Grim. I think the professional companies now, the costs have gone through the roof. The costs for insurance, the costs for touring, everything's gone through the roof. And so they play it safe.
Right.
It's very difficult, I think, for anyone to get an original play on stage now. And the same ones turn up over and over again.
It's almost safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose the new writers are going into film.
Yep.
I don't know about theatre. John Bill survives with Shakespeare. The broadcasts of National Theatre at the Evoca keep your hope alive. But I think it's going to be in the capital cities.
Yep.
I think the big theatre companies will only survive in capital cities.
Well, at the moment, it's in a tough place. There's the funding's not there. It's hard to get bums on seats. Everyone's competing for that dollar. So hopefully, our artists don't leave. They stay in Australia. They stay around here, and they start to create and inspire. And we are also creating the next generation of artists too, which we do at NAISDA.
Look, the future of Australian theatre, I think, is secular.
Well, it's not for a lack of talent, is it?
No, I think there's some holes. One thing that goes really well here is the Calendar Girls style of show and, the lighter comedy, professionally done. Yeah. And, of course, the professional companies are looking to create tours that are financially viable, and that's got to be a good thing. So I don't know if there's any magic answer.
No, I think amateur theatre has morphed into community theatre.
Yes.
Which is, and it's, mainly it costs a lot more. You can't do it anymore as a hobby. You really can't make sets out of cardboard and use clothing from Vinnie's. You can do it as a bit of fun for a school fundraiser or something, but you really can't run a theatre company that way anymore. No, nowadays, if you're going to be a theatre company, you're a community theatre company. And you've got to raise the money. And you've got to have somewhere to live and somewhere to work.
And if you owned it, it would be a good start.
And you've got to own it. Governments, councils, whatever, they don't want to spend money on something that's just practical.
Right.
They wouldn't subsidise you for a shed, right? They'd subsidise you for something like this, which had wall-to-wall carpet and leather chairs and, beautiful bar. Looked like a leagues club. That's what they see funding as.
Yeah.
Whereas, imagine what you could do with this. It was a big black space with a concrete floor.
Yeah. Why is there no permanent professional dance company here on the coast?
Oh, I mean, there could be lots of reasons. I think dance is pretty strong on the Central Coast. I think dance companies comes down to, where people are and where people are inspired. And most dancers, if they grow up on the Central Coast, move to Sydney or to other places to broaden their experiences. I think that, at NAISDA, we've got people coming back to the Central Coast. So I think it's only a matter of time that something will happen here. But, dance is a pretty immediate thing, and it's happening in the cities and around the world in all different places. So people come and go and, around the place. So maybe in time. There's also the element of funding. Funding's very hard to get by. There's not that much money out there in the arts budget. And we all know that, governments are cutting back, and the arts is one of those sectors that is getting cut back, unfortunately.
And why do you not think there's any professional companies here on the coast?
Well, to mount a professional company is really a big deal. You've got to have the staff and you've got to pay the staff. So you're looking at a fair amount of money. I guess I'd have to question whether the wonderful ratepayers of our LGA, when there is so many areas of the LGA to cover, would really support that. But the standards of some of the community work being done by Woodward Little Theatre and Gosford Musical Society in our LGA and in Wyong, their local groups, goes some way to that. What we've looked at doing here at Laycock Street is to start to activate or reactivate the Don Craig Room, which is our little performance space, 110 seats. We have the venue and the technicians and the know-how, and they have the shows. And one example I would cite as that is Civic Melancholy, which was Art Central funded. Cut a long story short, we did stage it here and in Wyong. It was a fantastic success.
Anyone involved with performing arts always gets so angry that they don't get as much credibility as sport.
Right.
When you think of the money that is spent on sporting fields that sit there most of the time, and you sort of say, wouldn't it be nice if we had like just a little studio or a little theatre? No, we can't afford that sort of thing. And yet on the coast, I wouldn't mind betting there are far more people involved in theatre and music and dance and film than there are in sport.
Right.
And that's including the audiences.